They said we got our first tariff bill. We imported 167,000 of floodlights and then paid 255,000 in tariffs. They said for those who said we made it up, here's the invoice. And they actually have the invoice on here showing the entered amount, invoice value, duties, 255,000. Now, what's wild about this here, they said we've been working on moving our manufacturing out of China for a year now. Now those efforts have been accelerated. We will probably be out within 60 days now, manufacturing back in Seattle.
About time, I'd say.
This is wild. This is a huge change up. And so, I mean, the prices on a lot of stuff, I think we're going to see some huge spikes as retailers try to dump this inventory. But at the same time, it's given a lot of these companies incentives now to start bringing stuff back to the U.S.
Which is exactly what was the motive here behind this. You know, we're spending, and see, the problem is when you start sending all of this money overseas and we start buying all of their stuff, it degrades the value of the dollar because it doesn't stay inside of the United States.
That's exactly right.
You know, so now it's in China instead of in the U.S.
Well, and we've talked about it before. You know,
multiplier effect.
Money trickles down. You know, you got somebody that buys product from someone, somebody sells product, and what does that person do? Well, that person may go to a restaurant that night and goes and buys dinner, and they tip their waitress or waiter in cash, and that money gets back used in the economy. Well, the problem with it is when these companies are funneling all this cash to China, it's constantly leaving the country, just like he said. And so it constantly is removing the value of the dollar out and out and out. And so bringing this cash back in is going to be a very, very profitable thing to the United States. However, we're going to have to basically tighten our belts for probably the next 6 to 12 months as some of these things are going to take a little bit of a bite out of everything when it comes to cost, as a lot of these companies now are not going to want to keep posting these